we cover people, places, things, and ideas. And welcome to the Quick Fast Book Review. We're always quick and fast, but never in a hurry. Well, this week's review is of General Colin Powell's latest release, and it's a handy book of experiences and advice called It Worked for Me in Life and Leadership. Former U.S. Secretary of State and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Colin Powell, shares a number of life lessons that have shaped him and have lent themselves to a successful military career and also a career as a public servant. The principles behind each of the 44 chapters are summed up in the first chapter called My 13 Rules, my favorite of which is rule number 2, get mad, then get over it. Definitely not a rule to throw out into the dung heap. Now, the rest of the book is arranged into chapters that are solid enough to stand alone. This book is an easy read for big bookworms and kind of reminds me of one of those pocket Bible verse books that have those biblical passages picked out to address a variety of daily feelings and concerns. For example, if you feel lonely, turn here. If you're discouraged, turn here. Well, in Powell's book, It Worked for Me in Life and Leadership, his relatable reference points range from self-knowledge, acceptance of and caring for others, keeping up with technology, and what it takes to get up to that point where you're actually giving more than what you thought was possible in the first place. I like that section, and it's called Getting to 150%. That's one of my favorite portions of the book. He also touches on when to stop, believe it or not, when your time is past. Just get off the train and both you and the train can keep it moving, just not together. Learn when your time is up at one place and when to move on. I read the book from cover to cover, and my plan is to use it as a reference as well. Well, he grew up as a regular guy. He achieved extraordinary things. If it worked for a regular guy who became an extraordinary man, maybe it can work for little old me. Or you. Or you. Here's one of my favorite quotes. One other thing to note, General Powell writes with incredible candor, I think, about a failure which was on display for the world to see. The UN speech he delivered on February 5, 2003, a little more than a decade ago. Read the book to find out more. He walks through what transpired that day, the role he played in everything leading up to that day, where he dropped the ball, where others fell short, and how he felt about that failure, as well as being on center stage during the whole situation. I cannot imagine that burden. But what Powell shares, he shares what worked for him in this time where most folks would literally crawl under a rock and stay. Powell didn't have that luxury of recovery in private. He had a very public job to continue. His advice when you blow it, essentially, learn from it, own it, figure what went wrong, take the lesson and move on. Just don't forget the lesson. And one thing I like about the book, there's humor too. The funniest chapter to me involved a few good-natured travel gripes, mainly a list of things he needs to comprise a good trip. All in the book. All in all, General Powell distills all of the book's lessons down to one word: people. People matter, and it's the relationships between people that influenced his life outcomes and that can also influence your life outcomes. That's pretty much summed up in the final sentence of the book. The people in my life made me what I am. Thanks for watching the Quick Fast Book Review on Planet Noun, where we cover people, places, things, and ideas. On the way next week, a review of Gillian Flynn's Gone Girl. Yes, I'm just now getting around to it, but I'm a little late, so what? I'm Liz. Until next time, toodaloo.